I am extremely tired, and it's all Disney's fault. Hi, I'm Phil. Welcome to my channel where I talk about all the geeky pop culture that I love. And for good or bad, a lot of that stuff that I love is produced now, or owned at least, by Disney. I stayed up till 1 a.m. last night watching all of the announcements coming from the Disney Investor Day 2020. And oh my word, there were a lot of announcements. I didn't even know this was happening until about 11 o'clock, just before it started. I saw somebody tweet about it and I was like, oh, I've missed out something here. What's going on? And I was like, I'll just quickly have a little glance in, just for like 10 minutes, see what's going on. 3 hours later, it finally ended and I was like, oh my God, I can go to sleep. And I'm very tired today, which is why I've got coffee in an appropriate themed mug. Yes, Disney clearly has my soul. I have Disney mugs. I have Mickey Mouse mugs for my coffee. But so I obviously want to talk about it on the channel. I don't have much time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through this video. I'm going to do at least 2 videos, maybe 3. This one, Star Wars. We're going to go through all the Star Wars announcements, what I thought about them. We're going to then, maybe later, I will do a Marvel one as well, because I really love the Marvel stuff. And then I might, if I feel like it, just do a roundup one of all the other, not going through every announcement, but all the other announcements that aren't Marvel or Star Wars that kind of piqued my interest in some way. Because there were a few of them. So I might do that third video, but I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm going to try and keep this as flowing as possible. It's kind of a stream of consciousness. I've got the Twitter feed from last night, so I'm going to go through that to remind me of what all the things were to talk about. I'm going to try and do it so that I need to do minimal editing, because I don't have the time. I don't have the time to edit 3 videos today. I've got to work. I've got to go to work in like half an hour. So I've got to get these recorded and done. So thankfully I'm working from home. So my commute isn't far. I've just got to go downstairs. Excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of coffee. The coffee's going to keep me going. I woke up this morning thinking, with a stonking headache, thinking I feel worse and rougher than I did when I went out on a night out 10 years ago. That may be a sign of my age. Okay, so let's stop beating around the bush. Let's get into these Star Wars announcements. What was there? And more importantly, what do I think about them? Because you probably all know what the announcements were already. This isn't a news video as such. Everyone already knows what they are. But what do I think about them? And I also want to know what you think about them. So put your comments about what your favourite Star Wars announcement was in the comments below, what you're looking forward to, what you're really not interested in as well. I want to hear about all of that. So the first thing that got announced was Rangers of the New Republic. We've seen the Rangers kind of set up a bit in Mandalorian. They are patrolling sort of the sort of space area in their X-Wings. There's been talk that this might involve the character that was in The Mandalorian that was made a marshal. I forget her name, her character name, and I think the actor's name is Cara, I think. She's a little bit controversial at the moment because she's made some slightly, I believe, transphobic comments. I can't remember what they are, but I believe there's some issue, or people believe that she's made some transphobic comments. That's what people are saying. I haven't looked into it enough to know, but I know there's some controversy around her. But interestingly, they did not announce her. There's speculation it might involve her, but there's been no announcement. So possibly she isn't in it. And this is just about the sort of X-Wing pilots going around patrolling the sort of more outer regions that the New Republic haven't quite got a grip on yet. And that could be quite interesting. A lot of these shows are set around the time of The Mandalorian, kind of spinning off from that very successful show. The next one was Ahsoka. Ahsoka, that's it, Ahsoka, that's how you pronounce it. Ahsoka, obviously a Clone Wars animated character that has recently made the live-action jump, played by Rosario Dawson. Also not without her own controversy, but I think slightly less so than Cara. And she, recently been in The Mandalorian, another spin-off in The Mandalorian. Now, they set up some good stuff in The Mandalorian, I think, and as soon as they had that episode, I was thinking they're probably going to do a spin-off with her, because they set up, not only is she a fan favourite popular character, they set up some stuff in that episode, particularly her looking for Grand Admiral Thrawn, which people were speculating, well, is he going to come into The Mandalorian? But I think that was more set up for this series. I think we're going to see a live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn, which, you know, fans of the expanded universe that is now the Legends universe of Star Wars, that has been decanonized, will be very happy with that, because he was a big part of that whole books expansion in the 90s of Star Wars. He was a sort of a big protagonist and antagonist in that, so I think we'll probably be getting to see him. That's obviously all of this stuff coming to Disney Plus. Then there is an Andor series. Andor is a character from Star Wars Rogue One. He's the guy from the rebellion who, you know, will do what he needs to do, sometimes questionable morality, in order that the quote that comes on this tweet, everything I did for the rebellion. He's doing what he needs to be done in order to help the rebellion succeed. In that very first scene of Rogue One, he stabs his informant in the back, someone that was helping them, and he stabs him in the back. So he's a, you know, morally grey character, but he's on the side of the good guys. That's coming in 2022. I think that could be quite interesting. Now this was the first real big shocker, because those first couple of ones, the first one was kind of like, oh yeah, I can see where they're going with this one. Ahsoka, I already assumed was happening. Oh, I forgot. I made a list. I'm going to tell you about this now. I made a list before this started. They announced that there was going to be 10 shows, and I made a list. No, I'm going to do that one when I get to it. When I get to it on the tweet. We'll come back to that, my list. Hayden Christensen returns as Darth Vader, joining Ewan McGregor in Obi-Wan Kenobi. So we knew that there was an Obi-Wan Kenobi series in development. But the fact that it's going to involve Darth Vader is interesting, because presumably in the time period that it's set in, Darth Vader doesn't know Obi-Wan's alive. So how is it going to involve Darth Vader? And even more interestingly, it's played by Hayden Christensen. What does that mean? Does it mean he's going to be inside the suit? Because that's the time period it's probably going to take place in. And it says he's playing Vader, it doesn't say he's playing Anakin. What does that mean? Is he going to voice it? Because Darth Vader voiced by anyone other than James L. Jones, or someone doing a very good impression of James L. Jones, will seem very, very weird. Is he just going to be... they've got to somehow, in order to convince him to be in it, I'm sure they're going to have some scenes of him outside of the suit. But how is that going to be? How is that going to happen? Is it going to be some kind of forced projection, maybe, like we saw in The Last Jedi, where Luke projects himself from wherever he is on his island to Crate, was it? In a very different form. Like, in a sense, he looked younger in his projection than he was with shorter hair and everything in the real life. Could Darth Vader do something like that? Project himself as his younger, non-crispy Anakin Skywalker self to Obi-Wan Kenobi in some way? And will Obi-Wan Kenobi stay on Tatooine, or will it take it off-world a little bit? Those are the questions I have about that one. Sorry, just taking a bit of coffee. Next, we had The Bad Batch, an all-new animated series. This feels like a sequel to the Clone Wars series, because it focused heavily on the clones, particularly the Bad Batch, as they were referred to. A particular batch of clones that from the trailer look like they are a bit more rogue, a bit more rebel, have a bit more of their own personality. And it's looking like in the trailer, it's immediately after the Clone Wars. So there's a bit in the trailer that they released where you see Emperor Palpatine declaring the start of the First Galactic Empire. And it looks like it's going to be following on from that. So one thing we've never really gotten so far, I don't believe so anyway, that might have been covered in the expanded universe that I haven't read yet, but what happened to the clones? Because at some point we transition from clones being the troopers of the Empire to stormtroopers which aren't clones. Where does that happen? Maybe we'll start to see that in this show. Then we have a very different one, Star Wars Visions, which is a series of original animated short films which celebrates the Star Wars galaxy through the lens of the best Japanese anime creators. So from the sounds of that, it sounds like it's going to be more of an anthology series. You know, different episodes covering different characters, maybe, you know, not even in the same time period, but done in a very anime style. So that will be really good for any fans of anime. I'm not I like anime. I like the anime that I have seen, but I'm not a massive follower of anime. So I will probably, when I'm going to take time to watch all these shows, I don't know. That's a whole nother issue. Then we get a Lando Calrissian's series as well. Brand new event series for Disney Plus. Helmed by Justin Simeon. That one's in the early stages of development, so no date on that one yet, and no more details. We don't know who's playing Lando. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be young Lando or old Lando? We don't know. It would be good to see Donald Glover back in the role, because... Donald Glover? Have I got the name right there? He was really good in it. He was one of the better parts of Solo, which overall, while I enjoyed it as a film, it was kind of on the, it was alright type of level. So it'd be good to see him again, maybe in his younger days. Before Solo, maybe afterwards. Depends on if they're planning on doing another Solo movie, I guess. Then we've got the Acolyte. Now, if you don't know, Star Wars is doing a sort of big multi-platform event, sort of like Time Lord Victorious with, but not quite over so many different types of medium as Time Lord Victorious with Doctor Who. But they're doing a thing called the Old Republic. No, not the Old Republic. What was it called? The High Republic era. And they've got several books, comics, and things that are tying together. It's mostly in print publishing that are tying together this new era that we haven't had before in Star Wars. And this is the first sort of live action, is it? Or is it... This looks like to be... mystery thriller. It takes viewers into a galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark side powers in the final days of the High Republic era. Doesn't say in the tweet whether or not it's live action or animated, but that one will cover a new era for television, at least on Star Wars, and tie in probably to the big event they've got going at the moment in the expanded media. Then Lucasfilm Animation is so I made this list when they said there's going to be 10 Star Wars series. I tweeted out a list of 10 possibilities that I thought might be on them. Some of them I got right, some of them I got wrong, but I got to about 9, and then I thought, I'm not sure, I can't think of any more at the moment. It was late, I was tired, and so for a joke I put in one called Droids: The Next Generation. Now, Droids was an 80s animated series and is universally regarded as being very bad. It followed R2-D2 and C-3PO. The animation was ropey, the stories were terrible. It wasn't a good animated series. So I put this in as a joke, as a kind of like, hey, Droids: The Next Generation. And then what do they go and announce? They announce a special one-off adventure film, A Droid Story, in which this epic journey will introduce us to a new hero guided by R2-D2 and C-3PO. They're guiding a next generation of droid. That's what I wrote. I wrote Droids: The Next Generation, and I said it as a joke, and they've actually announced it. Wow. For some reason, the Star Wars account was announcing other Lucasfilm stuff that wasn't Star Wars. I won't cover that here. I maybe talk about that in the other video when I get to it. But in terms of Star Wars stuff, there were also 2 films announced, as well as all the TV stuff. So we've got, and this is the one I'm probably most excited about, Taika Waititi is directing a Star Wars film. And the logo itself that they put on the screen just looks like it is going to be a really fun, very Taika Waititi, I can never pronounce his name properly the first time, film. And I love all of his films. I love his humour. I think it's going to be great. It'll be a very different Star Wars film, I think, but I think it will work brilliantly. I think humor can absolutely have a place in Star Wars. It doesn't. There's some people that think that Star Wars has to be all of the same tone throughout. I don't think it does. I think it's a big universe. You can have different types of stories and different tonal stories and different all sorts of different types of things, all within the same thing. So hopefully, I'm looking forward to that. And then Patty Jenkins, director of Wonder Woman, is directing Rogue Squadron. Rogue Squadron, brilliant games that were out years ago. I think N64 era, and they were fantastic games. And now they're making a movie with that title, and the logo looks the same. And I imagine it looks like they did a fun video of her, suiting up. The director, Patty Jenkins, suiting up and heading towards a plane and talking about directing a fighter pilot movie. And then revealing that it was Star Wars. And, oh yeah, Top Gun in space? Yeah, I'll take that. That sounds good. I'm looking forward to this. I don't know Patty Jenkins' work outside of Wonder Woman. At least I don't think I do. But I loved Wonder Woman. So that was one of the better DC films. So very much looking forward to this as well when it comes to cinemas. Does it say when? So there we go. That is all of the Star Wars announcements and my general very quick fire thoughts on each of them. I'm going to do one of these on the MCU as well, all of that stuff, and then I might do a third one on other stuff that they announced that piqued my interest. Stick around, please subscribe for that, and more importantly, let me know what you think of these announcements in the comments below. I think I've done this without having to need to do too much editing, so it'll be a bit random and a bit rambly. Sorry about that, but at least it'll save me some time. Oh, and I've still got a lot of my coffee left. That's good. All hail the Disney overlords. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.